Yo, I'm going back into a fat loss phase, just very briefly. This wasn't the plan. My food was going up from like October 2025, since I was in the second month of Bali, so like October, November. And my plan originally was to push food up really high in 2026 and have a bit of a growing phase, because I've had high food over the last few years, but I've always been doing like the ultras or marathon, high rocks, whatever. So I thought, you know what, let me have a phase now where I just go all in on physique and just putting some size on. And I'm actually changing that now. I'm going to go into a little mini fat loss phase, and the reason why isn't actually anything to do with the phasing or body composition technically. So for years I've had problems with my gut. I've been back and forth to the doctors. Doctors are shite, I think, these days. You know, especially when it comes to like nutrition, they don't know fucking anything. I've had a colonoscopy. If you don't know what a colonoscopy is, Google it. It's not very nice. Terrible, in fact. I found out that day, not that I had really had any suspicions, but I'm definitely not gay. Fucking 15-foot camera up my arsehole. But that didn't come to any conclusions either, so I've just been left to my own devices pretty much. And from my own research and trying to figure things out, paying for like food intolerance tests and stuff like that, I've narrowed it down to gluten and dairy. So at the minute, I've got no gluten and no dairy in my diet, and it's a very fucking boring diet. But I feel way better. There's a lot of inflammation that's dropped off. At this level of body fat, I look leaner, but I'm not getting any leaner. But it's still not perfect. So I'm controlling the food sources that I'm eating to kind of figure out where I need to lie with this and what my kind of baseline day of eating needs to be, the kind of foods that I want to include and don't want to include. But it's easier to do that when you have less food to consume in the day, which is why I'm going into a fat loss phase. It's not really for body composition. Obviously, I'm going to get leaner, I'm going to look better, and I'm going to be in a better position to grow. But it's not really a backward step in my eyes. It's more of a sideward step. I'm just setting the foundations, making sure that I know my body inside out when it comes to nutrition. If I drive food down, I'm not eating a lot, and then my gut is, let's say, perfect, because I'm not eating a large volume of food, so I know exactly what's being consumed. And then I add one thing in that causes me a problem, I can easily identify it. When I'm eating like 5 meals a day like I am right now at like 3,400 calories, it's hard to kind of know where the problem's lie. So that's what we're doing. I'm on the way to Optimize right now. I'm gonna grab a monster soon. This is one of the best shops in Huddersfield, Shell Garage Lockwood. The drink selection is out of this world. I'm gonna get a kind of monster. We're gonna go hit push at Optimize, and then we'll have a little physique update, seeing as it kind of fits the narrative of this vlog style video. But I'm gonna be regularly updating and taking you on this journey of this little kind of mini fat loss. I think it would make a good little mini series. So I've been pushing my bench recently. It's not something I've ever really stuck to. I've never hit 3 plates, and that bugs me. I need to hit 3 plates. So I'm on a bit of a bench grind at the minute. I've been running 110 kg for at least my top set. We've got 100 kg here. This is still warm up. We're going to see how this moves. Nice. That moved pretty well. A little bit of a twinge in the shoulder. I hope that is not subtle foreshadowing for something bad that could potentially happen. But anyway, let's not put that energy out into the universe. 110. This is absolutely not the most ideal bench press, because I find this lift off, I need it like here. That would be ideal. But anyway. Yep. One more. So I feel like, it's not like I feel like, when you're tall and you've got longer limbs, you are at a disadvantage because you've got longer levers. But for me, I have to come in fairly narrow. I have to come in like here. And I've seen other guys my size benching like out here. And when you go wider, you're making your levers, well, the bar doesn't have to travel as far if you go really wide. Whereas if you come narrow, you've got to come all the way down and drive back up. But I have to go narrow. I have to be here because otherwise it doesn't feel right on my shoulders. So yeah, I'll take that. I'm going to do a back off at 100. My shoulder's giving me a little bit of a problem. Should I be pressing more weight? No. I'm going to take it light though. I'm going to go with the 40s. I do want to hit a 3-plate bench. I have to hit that. It's never fallen. I've done a 4-plate squat. I've done a 200 kg deadlift. Never have I hit 3-plate bench. It's going to happen. But I prefer dumbbell pressing. So much more satisfying. So, current condition, pre-fat loss phase. We don't have that much to pull off. Like, it's not like I really need I don't need the fat loss phase for body composition. But it's literally just so I can get control of my gut. Sometimes, this is life, but this is definitely your fitness journey as well. Sometimes you've got to take a sideward step in order to move forward. So I think we're about 95 kilos at the minute, 6'3" for anyone that doesn't know. But yeah, this is where we're at. Now, I'm speaking objectively here. Fat loss is fucking easy. I've got shredded loads of times. I'm about to be shredded again. I'm going to take you on that journey. I'm going to show you how easy it is. I know I'm not exactly carrying loads of body fat now. You understand my reasons why. It's not a body composition thing. It's a gut thing. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to just get peeled out of your fucking mind. Now, all my clients can do this as well. We all get the same hunger, the same temptations. We battle that voice in our head saying, oh, that thing's in the cupboard. Oh, the supermarket's just here on the way home from the gym. You could call in. We deal with all that. And we don't fold. We don't crumble. Why is that? These are the precursors to fat loss. And what I mean by that, everyone's aware of calorie deficit. You've got to move more than you eat. You've got to not cheat on your diet. You've got to do your steps and your cardio plan and optimize your macros to support training whilst food's lower. And you know all that because you hear about it. You don't understand the layer below it that supports all that. Now, when you understand this, fat loss becomes incredibly easy. Now, the secret word here, the word isn't secret. You know the word. But the secret itself, structure. Now, what does this actually mean? Habits, training time. Okay, we're talking about structure here. I'm not talking about training time, eating windows, when you get your meals in, sleep and wake time, morning process, evening process. All right, there's loads more that I could go into on here. All of these elements here do two main things. They do more, but they do two main things, really, if I was to boil it down. Reduce decisions and eliminates boredom. Now, eliminating boredom is going to segue us into the next kind of layer. So let's talk about reducing decisions. Let's talk about why these are so effective when it comes to fat loss. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're doing. High performers at any phase in their life or training phase shouldn't be thinking about what they're doing anyway. I think it was Mark Wahlberg on a podcast one time saying that in his wardrobe, he's literally just got black t-shirts, black sweatpants, and black hoodies. So that when he wakes up, and he's running a fucking whatever billion-dollar company that he's running and all these people rely on him, he's just staying fresh. In fact, it might have been Jeff Bezos. I can't remember. They've already got loads of decisions to make. So have you. Thousands of decisions every single day. And some of them lead us down the wrong path. Now, if you've got less decisions to make, there's less decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is where you start to make the wrong decisions, where you start to cheat on your diet, where you start to lower your standards. So we need less decisions. And what this does, it gives us automation. I go to bed at this time. I wake up at this time. I have to tick these habits off. This is what I do before bed. This is what I do when I wake up to guide my day. This is when I'm eating. I don't eat outside those windows. It's very efficient. I know when my meals are. I can train my body essentially with the food that I have to not be hungry until these certain points in the day, which is exactly how it works. And this is the time I train. Now you got to figure out when all of this is, but you need this because it gives the structure that everything else in your day fits within and it guides your day. Now, the other thing was eliminating boredom. This is very important. When do you snack? When do you want to cheat on your diet? When do you cave to those vices? When you're bored. Now, as a fully grown man over the age of 21, the word or the words, I'm bored, should never come out of your fucking mouth. You should never be bored. I'm never bored. There's always something to be working on. There's always something that I'm doing. And this comes from having a North Star vision. Now, your North Star vision is the main thing that you're working towards in life. Now, I've got a few young guys on the program, and I have this conversation with them quite frequently where I'm like, okay, what are we working towards? What's the plan here? I don't really know. I'm not really that far ahead in life. I can't really answer that. And I'm like, you can. You just don't need to answer it in the way that you think you need to answer it. I'm very clear. I know where I want to live. I know the amount of money I want to earn. I know the kind of family, how many kids. I know the business, the ideal clients. I know it inside out. But you don't need that. How do you want to feel? What are the emotions? You want to feel happy? You want to feel fulfilled? You want to wake up doing a job that you absolutely love, not one that you fucking hate? How do you want to feel on Sunday evening knowing that you've got another week of work? How do you want to feel in your relationship? All these things, go through it all. That's your North Star vision. Now, when you have this, there's always something to work towards. There's always something to think about. You don't get bored. Now, boredom comes from free time as well. So it ties back into what I was saying with the previous, board there. Structure, habits, sleep and wake time, morning process, evening process, training window, eating times. Because my day is structured. In between all of those things, I've got work, I've got tasks, I've got content, I'm filming, I'm editing, I'm talking to clients. I've got downtime in an evening to do what I want, but it's not the bullshit. It's not doom scrolling. It's not Netflix. So I don't have much free time where it's aimless. I have downtime where I can do whatever I want with my time, but it's purposeful. It's intentional. And because of that, I don't get bored. So I ain't thinking about these fucking cravings and temptations, all that shit. It's not about you being weak-minded and I'm just stronger mentally. I'm not even allowing myself to get to that point. I don't get bored. Doesn't happen. But your North Star vision fills that gap anyway. Now, this also adds deeper purpose to your life, to your mission even. Your life, yes, but the mission that you're on. Let's just use a little simple analogy here. This is a tree. Okay, that's a very big tree. That's a very small tree. The thing that separates these is not just the height above ground, it's the depth of the roots. A tree can only grow as high as its roots go deep in the ground. Your North Star vision should be as high as possible. You should be very fucking ambitious with this. However, you are limited by the size of the roots. Now, this takes time, but you can do this fucking immediately. And the way you do that is looking inwards. The way you do that is reflection. You look back over your life. You look at all the traumatic things that happened. You remember those social situations in college or university or in your first job or your first relationship where you were humiliated, where somebody cheated on you. Whatever fucking happened, right? You're sat on a gold mine of emotional pain that is sat laying dormant, and you could be using it to your advantage to level your life the fuck up. And right now, you ain't doing shit with it. These are correlated. You can only dream as big as your roots go deep. If you're in this position and your roots cap out here, you can't get any higher than that. But if you take them there, then you can grow a little bit higher. And if you take them all the way down here, then you can fucking grow up there. I'll give you a very surface level example of what I'm talking about here. I do this with all clients. What do you want? I want to lose body fat. Okay, cool, mate. We'll get you shredded. No problem. Easy. Why do you want that? Well, I just want to look a bit better. I just want people to respect me a bit more. I want to be a bit more confident, when I'm walking into a room or around women, or just want a little bit more respect from my peers. Okay, cool. I like it. Why? Well, someone did make a comment at work recently and kind of felt a little bit humiliated. They didn't even mean it with any malice, But the way it came across to me, it just fucking ripped my soul out. Okay, now we're getting there. Why did that hurt? And then they keep going down and down and down. This happened when I was younger. I've always hated this. I've never liked this. Bingo. Bingo. Stretching this down here. And then this can grow up. Now, when you have both of these, there is nothing, I repeat, nothing that would make you cheat on your current process. Life is not about the fat loss phase, guys. It's the gateway to the life you want. Success is about who, not what. And what you're doing with a fat loss phase is you're going through extreme identity change, visually, but also internally, so that when you come out the other side, you see life completely differently and you start to push for a better life. And you can do it because you've got evidence that you're starting to change. But it's supporting your life mission. It's not your life mission itself, it's supporting the life mission. Let me give you another example to reinforce this. Let's just hypothetically say you hit the link in my bio, you join the team, we got you set up with a fat loss phase to begin with, which is what 95% of clients need to go through anyway. And in the first example, I say to you, there is nothing more important in your life than this fat loss phase. This is the number one priority. Forget everything else. Pull back time and energy from your relationships and seeing your friends and doing everything else that you love to do in life. Just put it all into this. That would feel quite pressured. Now, you'd be pretty locked in, but it would feel like a pressure keg. I've got to nail this, and if I don't, I'm a failure. Now, scenario 2, the exact same training setup, the exact same nutrition setup, but we anchor this down. North Star vision, deeper purpose. But the training, nutrition, steps, cardio, macros, exactly the same. Now we say, and we frame it in the way of, this is your number one priority. We got to start to uncover what this is. What do you want life to actually look like? And in order to start actually making this dream into a reality, we're going to attack it with a fat loss phase so we can shift your identity so you now believe that you are someone who could achieve that. You would be far more motivated to attack it this way. Fitness is down here. I say this a lot. Don't put fitness up here. Bring it down here. It doesn't mean it's not important. It's very important, but it's a baseline state. It's how you operate. It's not the main thing you're working on in life. This is the main thing you're working on in life. And this is a far bigger fucking driver than just getting lean. That's how you got to look at it, guys. I'm going to leave you with this. Who, not what. What you want requires a certain version of you. One that has higher standards, one that thinks differently, one that holds himself accountable, one that invests in himself, one that subtracts things out of his life that don't serve his North Star vision, one that operates with drive and discipline and a desire to be better and capitalize on this beautiful opportunity of life that you have right in front of you right now. Whatever you want in life simply requires a certain version of you. Nobody's ever achieved the thing they wanted without changing who they are. That is your mission. You figure out the what and you focus on the who. Subscribe, guys. I'm going to take you along this journey of getting fucking peeled. I'm going to show you how easy it is. And then I'm going to take you basically through the process of reverse dieting back up, building food up, getting fucking jacked. Let's go. Appreciate you watching.